Happy Tuesday, beautiful people in my phone. Welcome to Car Conversations, where we talk all things faith, freedom, and football. It is the day after. The day after the semifinals. My team lost. Texas lost. I did not predict these two teams in the finals playing for the national title at the start of this year, but somebody out there did, I'm sure. It's the day after. It's a beautiful day. First of all, clear blue skies. The sun is shining. And so while my team lost, and that was a tough defeat, especially, y'all, the fact that we stayed in the game and made it into overtime, considering how horribly we played, Michigan ought to be worried playing Washington. I'm just saying. That's the reality. Because we played horribly from start to finish. Period. We did not look like the same Alabama team as of late in the season. We look like week 2 Bama. We look like week 2 Bama, which is not playing to the Alabama standard. I don't know if it was the time off. I would venture to say that had something to do with it. It messed with the cohesiveness. It messed with the momentum, that they had put into place over, the second half of the season. Really, since week 2, honestly, or really week 3. But also, I believe it had a lot to do with the lights, camera, action, distractions, Minnie Mouse, Rodeo Drive shopping sprees, all of that was happening in Cali. Pop-up shops left and right. Now, they do pop-up shops, in Tuscaloosa and in, the surrounding areas, Birmingham, and things of that nature throughout the season. But, y'all, I just felt like all week, for the last 10 days, watching everything that they were doing and what was happening out in Pasadena, I was like, this is too much. What are we doing? I just felt like it was a lot. I wanted them to just they can't stay sheltered and be in the hotel and just practice and eat together and do media and go. No, they have to live. But I just felt like we just played such undisciplined football. And the O-line, God bless the O-line, really. And we've talked about them all season long. They had started mid-season, especially when we had that gauntlet stretch of the SEC, putting together some really good chemistry and learning to work together very well. And I don't know what happened to all of that. It was non-existent last night. Michigan has a serious front, and they pushed us around and made us look like little babies, little children out there. And poor Milroe was getting hammered, which some will say he was holding on the ball too long, and still wasn't necessarily making the reads and seeing people who were open, and yes, I would agree to that. There was enough to go around, right, for everyone who could have done things much better, played much smarter last night. Here's what I know. This team will remember this. These players on this team may or may not have been on the team when we lost to Georgia 2 years ago. This group will remember this, and the majority of this group will be back next season. These kids are young. The majority of the players are sophomores and some freshmen out there. I'd love to see Justice Haynes get out there. Justice and Jam, and Jace, it's no shade to Jace, and Jace scored, and Jace had a big run. But I wanted to see more of Justice and Jam. I wanted to see more of the run game, y'all. The run was working, and we deviated from it, and I don't know what that is. You continue with the play calling until they make the adjustment to stop it. If it's working, run it. run it. Like why were we? It's not a game of cutesiness. It's not a game of style. At this point, we're in the freaking playoffs. We're trying to get to the natty. Win the freaking game. Who cares about the style points at this point? You want to win, so beat them. However, you're beating them, and we abandoned the run in after the third quarter, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't like to point fingers, but I question Tommy Rees on that. I really, really do. And then at what point does Coach Saban, override Rees? But, I mean, he doesn't spend all the time with all the plays. He's more of a deep. I don't know how they do it in their coach's room. I don't know how it works. But what I know is we did not stick with what was working. And we were gassing their defense with our run. And they were getting worn down until they weren't. Until we... Okay. It's the day after. I'm a little emotional. Still clearly a little emotional. We'll be back. I mean, it's going to be a 12-team playoff next year, but whatever. To hear that Terrion Arnold is coming back, that just made my whole night better. It was the middle of the night, I think, when I saw it, that he was returning, and I love that. We haven't heard from Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's probably gone. Kool-Aid, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna do that. I'm glad Terrion's coming back. It'll be interesting to see who hits the portal. There were a lot of people that probably felt they should have been, they should have gotten played, and they didn't. Now, I understand the way an O-line works. You have to, you learn to work together, and there's a chemistry that's built. But dadgummit, we've been calling for coach to replace the center most of the season until there was improvement. But that was one of those calls last night. I was like, at halftime, can we replace the center? So I don't know if we didn't have anyone that could step up and come in and gel, quickly and or block as well. He may make it snap the ball, but he doesn't know how to. He doesn't know the. I don't know what the problem was as to why we couldn't fix that. I'm just gonna say that, why we couldn't fix that. But it's all good. It's not a failure. It's not a loss if you learn the lesson. Remember that. It's not a loss if you learn the lesson. That's our takeaway today. It's not a loss if you learn the lessons. So I think that's about it that I have to say about that game right now. Like I said, I like to see Justice Haynes and Jam Miller run the ball, and to know that those guys are our future, and they're still the running back room is stacked. The receiver room is stacked, and you just got to know who's gonna stay, and who's not gonna be tempted, to get into the QB room is stacked. Somebody's leaving. Somebody's transferring, and it may be two people that transfer out of the QB room. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? I'd love to hear your thoughts about who you think is going. I hated to see 3 go down the way he did last night. I don't know what that was. I didn't hear the injury report. I hope he's okay. Technically, he has one more year, too, I believe. That COVID year that he's able to decide if he's going to stay or go, and I don't know. Y'all, it's football. You win some, you lose some. So, I just want to say this. I have never in my life experienced the level of hatred that Georgia people have for Alabama. Like, We're playing a Big Ten school. Why are y'all
half a mile.
Where I was watching the game last night, I could not believe the amount of Georgia people, and these were not Michigan fans. They were just rooting against Alabama. And I was like, that's sad. It's a lot of venom. That's sad. Like, why can't you even just pull for the conference? Like SEC. Why can't you pull for the conference? Conference ain't looking so hot this bowl season. I just want to say that. Like, for real. It's like these young people are like, I'm tired of hearing about the SEC where it just means more. We didn't do our part. We didn't do our part yesterday, you know, and so we have to own that. We have to make the adjustments. But y'all know that's my team. I'm ride or die for my team. That's my alma mater. I ride or die for mine, and it's going to be all right. Coach is still the GOAT. I still believe that is one of the most difficult, challenging, yet wonderful seasons as a coach, that he was able to take these young people. It was such a young team, and take them as far as he took them. So I'm proud of him. How could you not be? How could you not be proud of these young people for sticking with it, for putting forth their best effort? They're not perfect. They're young people. I'm not perfect, and I'm an older person. Are you? So, it's good to laugh about it. You know, it hurt, but it's good to laugh about it. On to Texas. Like, I said Texas ought to mollywop them. And I don't know what what happened to Texas defense yesterday. I don't know. And I was listening to more post game of our game that I didn't watch closely all of their game. But I watched the end of that game, the last quarter. And I'm rooting. I've been a Michael Penix fan from the beginning. I probably was saying his name wrong in earlier car conversations, but it's Penix. And I'm a Michael Penix fan. I've been a Michael Penix fan since early in the season. I wanted him to win the Heisman until Jaden Daniels was doing what Jaden Daniels was doing, and I'm glad the SEC guy won it. But Michael Penix is something special. Michael Penix is something special, and what they have put together out in Washington, as far as the way they carve up defenses. Like, but his ball placement, the way he places that ball is elite. Like, it's top tier. It really is. Michael Penix is top tier. So Washington, I want y'all to win it all. I do. Let the Pac-12 go out with a bang. I believe they can. Texas defensive line, I thought, was one of the better defensive lines this year that we had played prior to Michigan. I mean, and Georgia just wasn't what Georgia normally is on their defensive line this year. And we were handling them, you know, for the SEC. So I don't know. It's just like any given Saturday. Any given day, you know, any given game, you know, a different team could show up. But consistency is what is important. Discipline, toughness. It's probably commitment, but I say consistency. Like, and this was we had one of the most inconsistent teams this season. Now, I hadn't watched all of Bama or all of Texas and all of Washington's games this season, but Washington has demonstrated they have consistently won. They haven't lost a game. They have not lost a game. And I thought for sure Texas was going to beat Washington. And they almost did. They really almost did. That game was until the last second. That was anybody's game. So it's going to be interesting. How many of you are going to watch? First of all, are you watching the Natty? Secondly, who do you have winning it all? What's your commentary? What's your feedback from the games last night, from the semis? What did you see? Let's keep it respectful, y'all. Let's keep it respectful in the comments. But thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing the content as you feel led to share content. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for scrolling on by. My name is Jocelyn Carr. This is Carr Conversations, where we talk all things faith, freedom, and football. And because the college football season is drawing nigh, that does not mean that we will not continue to put out content. The NFL season's still going on, as well as all of the off-season antics that may be brewing and maybe happening. We just don't know. So we'll continue to make sure that we put content out. But I just want to thank you, and I want to encourage you just to continue on the second day of the new year, to continue to go for whatever it is that you want to do. Go for whatever it is that you want to do. What's stopping you? Nothing but you. So let's go get it. Let's go get it. I love y'all. Y'all stay winning and y'all stay free.